Turns out the judge probably said something he shouldn't have.
People in River Trace Apartments called today in what can only be described as panic. In May, we felt, hey, don't, you're assaulting us. And in October, you know, there are stairs broken over here.
The man came to fix them today. Would you please leave?
But it's not just those stairs.
Steel frames and pans hold up this staircase, but look here, you can see it peeling away from the staircase, leaving gaping holes in the concrete.
Management at Ascension Tower stood in the door and physically blocked the local I-team.
But I can't go with them.
No, ma'am.
Why? But what do you have to?
You cannot.
I can actually legally do that.
Will you call the police for me?
But they could not stop local I-team's Maria Hallas from meeting with residents
To talk with you about all these deficiencies. She walked away and we went in, but eventually were shown the door. Are you an employee here?
Yes.
Well, we were asking about all of these deficiencies.
Thank you.
Okay.
The device is called Stingray and it fits into a briefcase about this size. That means it's mobile, and when operational, it'll collect what you say, where you are, and some of your phone data. The first 20 pilot projects are purposefully placed along city council districts to generate support for the $200 million plan.
We wanted to know what the mother and her baby were supposed to do until then.
Can we get some help here? Anything for this weekend before? Because I hear what you're saying about Monday, but is there something that can be done this weekend? I mean, even now?
I can try.
City leaders are here for the first gang assessment, and we've got an exclusive look. Imagine walking upstairs like these when suddenly they collapse and you fall. This problem is real and endangers hundreds of lives of Memphis. What's more, the documents we've obtained show the city's known about it for several months and allowed the problem to grow worse. Falling through concrete stairs was the last thing on Sharonda Holmes's mind, so when the steps gave way outside of her apartment in South Memphis, she panicked.
Yeah, I started screaming, I started crying because I was expecting to walk down the stairs and throw the trash away, but I never made it.
A lower stair broke her fall and prevented Holmes from dropping 20 feet. But this mother and her infant were not as lucky. Sharita Corbin and baby Madison plummeted through the exact same staircase at Willow Oaks Apartments last February, 8 months before the Holmes incident. Concrete slabs that look like these hit 5-month-old baby Madison in the head. Neighbors rushed in to help.
And then the baby was not crying or anything, so we thought the baby was dead.
Her eyes was actually like going to her back of her head.
Memphis police reported Madison suffered skull fractures. Corbin and Madison recovered, but the incidents 8 months apart left us wondering why residents at Willow Oaks remain exposed. So we asked Memphis-based structural engineer Harvey Markham. And based on the photos Markham looked at with us, he said the stairs are unsafe.
There is no structural element there to carry that load. So to that degree, they are dangerous.
Steel frames and pans hold up this staircase, but look here, you can see it peeling away from the staircase, leaving gaping holes in the concrete.
I would think if you were aware that that tread had broken, you would hope to find out why it was broken and then proceed to make sure the others didn't break.
Instead, the documents we obtained show city code enforcement closed the case last March after the broken landing was replaced. But Markham says they're still unsafe.
I mean, this looks like an extreme version to me of some bad erosion. Is that?
Yeah, it's pretty severe.
Severe enough that Memphis firefighters who rescued baby Madison called the stairways dangerous and recommended residents be relocated. And even though the warnings reached top brass at Memphis Fire Department, code enforcement closed the case 20 days later. Those fire department emails not only warned other stairways at Willow Oaks were a problem, but also identified at least 2 other apartment complexes around Memphis as similarly unsafe. Here are the stairs at Kimball Cabana Apartments in South Memphis and the main walkway at Cherokee Square Apartments in South Memphis, where most of the steel has disappeared, leaving crumbling concrete.
Do you think that these meet the code?
In this condition of the photographs that I've seen, I don't think that they would.
It's very scary. It's horrible because you fear for your life and you don't know what's going to happen if you try to come outside of the door.
Hundreds of people at these complexes like Holmes have no choice but to use these stairs. Stairways that Holmes now calls death traps. messed up sidewalks like the one right here beside me are all over the city, and a new safety action plan from city engineers won't be tackling some of the most dangerous areas first. Steve Collins commutes on Poplar Avenue almost every day.
I don't know what the next driver's going to do.
He battles traffic from a wheelchair after an operation left him partially paralyzed. Forced in the road by sidewalks that are buckled and broken. Some are too steep, others just not there.
I've been hit in this wheelchair 5 times.
And since about 2008 or 2010, Memphis has been consistently been in the top 10 most dangerous cities for pedestrians.
The city's own crash and safety analysis reports pedestrians in the Memphis area are more likely to be hit by a vehicle and killed than in 46 of 50 other regions across the country. Memphis currently budgets $100,000 for about 3,500 sidewalk miles. Nashville spends over $1 million for about 1,000 sidewalk miles. And Austin, almost $4 million for 2,600 miles. Memphis spends almost its entire sidewalk budget responding to complaints about conditions like these. But city engineers just released a report that recommends 10 times what Nashville spends. The Memphis Pedestrian and School Safety Action Plan allocates $200 million in changes over 20 years. That's $10 million a year.
We assume sidewalks will last somewhere between 50 to 75 years. A lot of the sidewalks in the city are approaching that time frame. A really constrained year with the capital budget.
Memphis Engineering Division Director John Cameron and the city's pedestrian and bike manager Kyle Wagenschutz recently unveiled the first 20 pilot projects that will cost $5.5 million. It looks like the places where there are crashes are mostly downtown, and as I read through the crash report, Poplar, Union consistently come up as within the top sites. How many of those will be addressed by the pilot projects?
I don't know.
But we found answers in the plan. On this map of pedestrian crash locations, the red and orange dots show areas near Union and Poplar with the highest number of crashes. Now look at this map of the pilot projects. Only 13% of the $5.5 million will target the downtown and midtown areas with the most crashes. I don't see that any of the pilot projects are going to alleviate that for most Memphians.
Well, the pilot projects, again, aren't...
Do you see that?
I see it, but the pilot projects aren't designed to address a purely safety concern.
They not only do not follow pure safety concerns, but according to the city's own rating system, many of the pilot projects have lower danger scores than others not on the list.
The pilot projects are designed to provide a demonstration of all of the types of projects that exist within the plan itself.
Not all the pilot projects have got a high score. I think we'd be much better off choosing projects with the high score because they take into account safety and connectivity and all the other issues that were part of the analysis.
Engineers say they only have money for the first 20 pilot projects. Funding could be cut off at any point. Isn't that correct? I mean, it could be cut off after the pilot projects end.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, yeah.
And if the city is left with just those 20 projects, where does that leave Steve Collins and other pedestrians?
I will die at this intersection. I will die at this intersection.
His house in a shambles, Molester Johnson says it is the smell of pine he won't forget.
It's scary. I mean, it's really scary. Like I told my wife this morning, I can still smell the debris.
Not pine scent from Christmas decorations, but from trees ripped out of the ground by the same tornado that tore through Johnson's house.
It took practically everything off my house.
But the family says they refuse to give up their Christmas celebration.
It's stuff on the Christmas tree for my grandbabies. I got all that stuff.
From the Johnson home, the tornado traveled here across Route 7 to Marvin and Benita's home.
I got nothing I could salvage. No furniture, no TVs, nothing.
High winds whipped away the four walls of Sim's home along with the roof.
As soon as I looked up, I saw it go.
But Sim says he's blessed on this Christmas Eve to be alive.
As soon as we get back on our feet and get started all over again, wait for next Christmas then.
The debris from the tornado that hit Benton County marks the hallowed place where 4 people died. Michael Nunnally and William Crawford, 2 cousins, perished with their girlfriends, Tasha Brown Williams and Patricia Williams. Frank Crawford wept quietly while he spoke of the loss.
It's a tragedy. I mean, everything just wiped out, everything. Within 5 minutes, it's all gone. 4 people dead.
The cousins and their girlfriends became engulfed by a storm so ferocious it took 2 days of searching over Christmas for Crawford to find Nunnally's body.
I wouldn't want this kind of death for anybody.
Looking at the devastation of that tornado and all the damage that it did here in this area, I didn't look to find him alive.
Now Nunnally's mother, Maxine, is planning her son and nephew's funerals. While the family home was destroyed, she gains comfort in knowing they'll be buried in a familiar place, a church that goes back 10 generations in her family.
Family's down there, my mother, father. I have 2 sisters, uncles, and I'm putting them right behind my sister.